It looks ordinary, doesn't it? Just a plain, white cup. But if you ever see this cup run, don't stop to question it. Don't try to understand it. Just run, lock your doors, and pray it doesn't find you again. I didn't listen to the warnings. I thought it was a joke, a silly urban legend. But what I'm about to tell you will make you think twice the next time you see an innocent object where it doesn't belong. Because this cup isn't just an object, it's a curse. And once it finds you, there's no escape. It started on a normal day. Nothing unusual, no signs of what was to come. I was working from home, hunched over my laptop with 3 deadlines looming. When I finally got up to grab some coffee, I noticed it. Sitting on the counter, right next to my coffee maker, was a plain, white porcelain cup. At first, I didn't think much of it. Maybe I'd forgotten putting it there, but something felt off. I couldn't shake the feeling that it didn't belong. The handle was chipped, and there was a faint discoloration on the rim, like a coffee stain that had been there for decades. A strange shiver ran down my spine, but I ignored it. I had work to do. That night, though, I couldn't sleep. My dreams were filled with strange whispers, words I couldn't understand, and the sound of liquid pouring into a cup. When I woke up in a cold sweat, my phone buzzed. It was a text from an unknown number. Have you seen it yet? If so, lock your doors. I stared at the message, confused and uneasy. Was someone messing with me? I brushed it off, but when I went into the kitchen the next morning, the cup was still there. Only now, it wasn't on the counter, it was on the dining table, facing my chair. I felt a pang of unease. I was certain I hadn't touched it, but maybe I'd moved it absent-mindedly while making dinner. I picked it up to put it back in the cupboard, but the moment my fingers touched the ceramic, a wave of nausea hit me. It wasn't just a physical sensation. It was a feeling deep and primal, like something was watching me. I dropped the cup, and it hit the floor with a loud clink. It didn't break. That's when I noticed the liquid. Thick, dark liquid was dripping from the cup, pooling on the floor beneath it. But when I picked it up again, the inside was dry. I should have thrown it away. I should have smashed it into pieces and tossed it out. But something about the cup wouldn't let me. It felt heavy in my hands, far too heavy for its size, as if it didn't just hold coffee or tea. It held something else. Later that evening, as I sat on the couch, the TV turned on by itself. Static filled the screen, and then I saw it. The cup. Not a cup, the cup. It was sitting on a wooden table, just like the one in my kitchen, but the scene was different. The background was pitch black, and the table seemed to stretch endlessly into the void. And then I heard it, a low, guttural whisper, "Drink." The next few days were a blur of terror. Every time I tried to get rid of the cup, it came back. I threw it in the trash. It reappeared on my bedside table. I left it at a park miles away. When I got home, it was waiting on my kitchen counter. The text messages continued, always from unknown numbers. "Do not drink from it. Lock your doors. It's watching. If it moves, don't look away." I started to feel like I was losing my mind. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the cup. I stopped sleeping, stopped eating. I even stopped going to work, afraid to leave my apartment. One night, I couldn't take it anymore. The cup was sitting on my coffee table, and I stared at it for hours, daring it to do something. Finally, I grabbed it and screamed, "What do you want?" The room went silent, and then I heard it, the sound of something dripping. I looked down and saw dark, thick liquid pouring out of the cup, spilling onto the floor. It looked like coffee, but the smell was metallic, like blood. Before I could react, the liquid started moving, snaking across the floor like it had a mind of its own. It formed words. One sip. I ran to my bedroom and locked the door, my heart pounding. For hours, I sat there, listening to the sound of footsteps outside my door. But when I finally mustered the courage to open it, the hallway was empty. The cup was gone. Relief washed over me, but it was short-lived. As I lay in bed, trying to convince myself it was over, my phone buzzed again. The message was different this time. "Check your sink." Against my better judgment, I got up and went to the bathroom. The sink was dry, but when I looked up at the mirror, I froze. The reflection wasn't mine. It was the woman. Her face was pale, her eyes sunken and hollow, her lips twisted into a sick grin. And in her hands, she held the cup. That was the last night I spent in my apartment. I moved out the next day, leaving everything behind. But it didn't matter. The cup followed me. It appeared in hotel rooms, on the dashboard of my car, even in the suitcase I packed to flee the city. No matter where I went, it was always there waiting. I don't know how long I have left. The cup is relentless. I haven't slept in days, and the whispers are getting louder. If you ever see it, plain white porcelain, chipped handle, faint coffee stain run. Don't touch it, don't look at it for too long, and whatever you do, don't drink from it. Because once it finds you, it never lets go. And if you're listening to this, it might already be too late. The sound of dripping liquid grows louder as the screen fades to static. A faint whisper echoes, "Drink."